Well, hello, everybody. And hello, everybody, and welcome to the first edition of Average Superstar TV Live. All right, so I'm new to this world. So awesome. All right, people are popping up in the comment section. Hello, Melanie. How you doing? We really got a cool show for you tonight. First off, I'd like to thank everybody who's been keeping up with Average Superstar TV, my weekly podcast. That's been a blast doing. The guest I've been getting has been quite amazing. So those shows drop every Monday at 5 a.m. We're on YouTube, which I need everybody to subscribe to, which is that's very important. And we're also available on Spotify, Amazon, Stitcher, and I'm really trying to work on a few other outlets that are more on the bigger side. But to tell you right now, Apple's giving me a little bit of a hard time, so I'm working on that one. So yes, I got a bunch of guests coming in here. I got Brian Emright coming on later on in the show, along with Josh and Sarah Schultz. We'll be talking about some horror movies. That's later in the show. All about any questions that anybody looking to ask me anything. Got some dark military updates going on. So basically for the last 2 years, like a lot of us, it's been sucking for a lot of us. When this whole thing went down, I was like, don't make any films. Don't do anything. Just wait this out. The last thing I needed was to start a film project, and everything got worse. I can't film something and everybody just goes away and is afraid to come back. And one after another, missile after missile, I was gun shy and everything. So I've never been gun shy about telling everybody that I work a real world job. I'm not one of those actors. I act like I only make movies. That's all I do. No, I'm completely honest always about that sort of thing. So I just fell pretty deep into the real world job. I worked a real lot. I worked 6 days a week last year, except for 3 weekends. Yes. That's how crazy my freaking schedule was. So the money was really freaking nice. That was a good thing. So, but if I knew this stuff was going to be that crazy, like this long, I would have started the podcast way earlier. So, I'm just kind of glad that, got things rolling here. Got some film projects coming up. I would like to start off by going to run a really quick couple second video here. All right. This is for our fallen soldier of the dark military, Anton. So yeah, if anybody did get the update earlier, I posted it on the Dark Military page last week. One of my Dark Military cast actually passed away. Got a really good dude named Anton. This is secondhand information I got from my producer, Mary Liz. I guess he got caught up with some sort of drug loss. I don't know exactly what went down, but he was a good dude. He's one of the few cast members I actually didn't get to know on a personal level. Everybody who knows how I cast my movies, I literally draft you. Like the first guy coming on tonight, Joe Garofalo. I know him. I was like, I like this guy. I want him in my movies. I'm drafting this guy. So what happened was after we filmed the first year with the Dark Military, the role of Judas was played by Eric Foxhill. He stepped away from the film business completely. There was a hole to fill when we shot pickup shots. We decided to add another scene later on, a year later. This dude Anton came right in. I met him at the shoot. Great guy. I met him at the premiere of the movie. Great guy. And I met him at South Jersey Geek Fest. And that was basically my only real interaction with him. I wish I got to know the guy a little better. But Anton, rest in peace. You'll always be part of the Dark Military family. And with that, we're going to move on. Any questions people would like to ask, feel free to drop them, and I'll start sliding those things through. Meanwhile, I got Kyle B. Thompson, Joe Garofalo, and then we're gonna go into my buddy, one of my wrestling guys, Hackett. He's a great dude. He's a commentator. You'll see. I'll play you something when that bit comes up. But right now, feel free for everybody to drop those questions and those comments. And meanwhile, I am going to go into tell me about your project. And that will be with the great Joe Garofalo, who I'm going to bring in right now. Joe Garofalo.
Hey, buddy. How you doing, man?
Brother, I'm so happy you're on the show, buddy.
Thanks for having me, man.
Hell yes, dude. How you doing?
I'm good, hanging in there, playing Nintendo.
Nintendo, you say? Joe, this is how professional I am. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, I'm technically, it's not in Clerks 3.
I get you, but this is why I brought you on here. So I've known you. We've known each other about 10 years. You appeared in my film, The Dark Military, and you've always been my main you were one of my original help desk guys when I got in. Were asking a million questions. I didn't know where to go, so I always like to repay. And for as far as you go, I know recently that you had a hand in Clerks 3, and I know a lot of people love the Kevin Smith universe. So tell everybody what you did.
Well, all right. Well, okay. Once again, it's not in the movie itself, the thing that I'm doing.
Okay. All right.
It's part of it ties into it from what I understand. I haven't done it yet. He's a busy guy. I'm sure I will hear from him soon.
Okay.
But it is a claymation short involving Jay and Silent Bob.
That's pretty freaking awesome.
Written by him, which is cool. I think it's something deleted from the movie itself that I'm going to be animating. If I'm to understand correctly, that's what it is.
Awesome, brother. So how did you even get into this whole claymation thing?
I was bored, and I always liked claymation. Like, I loved the California Raisins growing up. They were like, I still do. It's weird. I have a thing for anthropomorphic fruit. It's bizarre.
Liquid television.
I always liked it, so I figured, I would try it, and I knew the basics because I went to film school and stuff. So I just did it, and then I met Kevin Smith, and he saw the first thing I ever did and was like, dude, how much would you charge for this? And I was like, I didn't show him to like, hey, man, so I was just caught off guard. I was like, I don't know. But he hired me to do a couple things, and I wound up making his Wake and Bake intro on his That Kevin Smith Club. I love the dude, and it's just really cool to be a part of anything he asks. I'm like, yeah, dude, I got you. So
good.
Yeah.
So, but I saw Kevin actually posted something from you guys. Like I remember he did. He went live. So what exactly did he post?
Oh, I said, can you make a video for my wife telling her that we're actually working together? Because I don't think she believes me. And he was like, hey, man, it's legit. He's doing this thing for the movies, and he made my Wake and Bake. He's like, he's not having an affair. He's working with me. That's what he said. That's the thing that he posted about that.
Okay, yeah, because dude, I was so happy for you. I know how big of a fan you are of him, of his universe. Like, I know he was a big inspiration to you.
I used to do monologues from his movies when I was like 13 years old. It was weird because I'd go in there and be like, one time my cousin Walter got this cat stuck in his ass, and I'm like a 13-year-old saying this stuff, and it was bizarre.
Is that the best opening dialogue ever to a movie?
Maybe.
Yeah. Talk about like getting your attention rather quickly,
Yeah, I have something else to announce,
Please do it.
I'm doing another short claymation short of Jackrabbit, the character that I created, and Dean Bahar is going to do a voice. We recorded the audio yesterday, He was Squeak in Basketball and Chota Boy and Orgasmo.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Yeah, dude. He. I asked him if he would do it. He said yes. So we recorded the audio. He sent it over to me. I'm really. He's playing this guy.
Okay.
Yeah. There. That's
Joe.
Bob.
How did you actually? Because dude, when I first saw you like in this world, how do you even know about going about doing that? Like, is it like what made you actually do it? Like how did you have to like go to any classes and all that stuff, or did you just kind of wing this to learn to?
I just winged it.
Wow.
I to be honest, I really did. Well, a lot of it was YouTube tutorials, and like I went to film school. I knew the basic principles of stop motion, so like I knew how to basics of it. I'm still learning. It's not like I know everything.
Of course,
everything I'm doing, I'm like, oh, and I try to make each one a little bit technically better. I try. But yeah, dude, I literally taught. Well, I say taught myself, but really, the people on YouTube taught me. So YouTube is a very.
I've always said, man, Google and YouTube taught me more than my entire schooling, like together. You know what I mean? Because you just it's amazing, you know, how that changed the world. It really did.
Yeah, I just literally when I wanted to do it, I was like, all right. I built my things. I looked on YouTube on how to build the puppets, and they're not perfect. Like I hate the hands and stuff. I got to keep working on things, but like, you know, you just keep doing it, and you just get a little better at it each time. I hope.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, brother, I know I'm kind of just doing quick segments here.
Yeah, man.
But Joe, you're my boy, dude. And for anyone who's ever going to work, I always kind of talk about my history. Again, this is one of the first guys I ever met. I knew this guy was genuine. You're one of my original help desks. So,
well, yeah. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for having me on, and thanks for the kind words. And yeah, man. And
yeah, dude. This is the part where we say goodbye.
All right, man.
I will say goodbye and leave you with all hail Joe Garofalo.
Thanks, guys.
Yes. Hello, Melanie. Good evening. Where did I go? All right. Question I have is where. Okay. Brian's reviews. Question I have is, where did you film the original DM? And I'm sorry. I like to slur my words, so I get one of these. Okay. Question. All right. So what a location. Okay. So Brian, we filmed this all in South Jersey. Basically, yes, almost. Let's see, three locations. We filmed in Mount Laurel, where we did the entire police station scenes. The entire Dark Military Woods was shot up in Franklinville, as well as the cook's kitchen, as well as the parking lot scenes, where the Dark Military characters, the Prey get together. That was in Clayton. That was 2 miles down the road from where we filmed in Franklinville. And the terrorist scene was shot at the Fright Factory in Philadelphia, where Terrifier 2 was shot. I helped get that in there. So, yeah, I hooked those guys up in 2 seconds with that. We could spend all day on Terrifier as well. What else we got here? Thanks, Jane. Jane, you can't text me at 6 a.m. when I'm at work. Okay, I always love your support. Welcome to the show, my buddy Hackett, Patrick Hackett. I'm going to bring you on, buddy.
What's going on, Lauren? It's the first time I get to interrupt your show.
Oh my gosh, yes, it did.
Yeah. So now it's time for the Hackett show.
Oh my gosh, yes. So everybody gets a freaking guitar riff when they come on my show.
I love
it.
I
don't play around here. I got to be different here. All right, so let me see.
Oh no!
I'm going to show everybody.
This is bad.
This is all from my wrestling era here. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. So we're gonna go. A lot of people. Yep.
Right? It's your first time going live. Going live is hard. It's not easy, you know. You're talking about your movie projects, which is insane for me to think about. That somebody that I was running in the ring with is making films, not only starring in them, but acting, directing, casting. It's incredible.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I did so. It's crazy because our era, for everybody who doesn't know. So I was in the wrestling business from 1999 until about beginning of 2004. And one thing about this is myself and the guy I managed, Garrett Dominance, we had a heavy tie to the ECW wrestling. That does not mean by any way when I say that I was believing Garrett and I were going to get into ECW. But the fact that we had some connections there, we did some light work there. I worked for a promoter that worked for ECW. So I was technically his help. I was never employed by ECW. I never spoke a word to Paul Heyman in my entire life. But what it really came down to was we had our foot in the back porch, and then all of a sudden WCW and ECW fall at the same time. Yep. And there you are. You're running around in indies. And I'll kind of run around like with my heart cut out of my chest that entire time. I mean, yeah. I loved what we did. Yeah. I loved meeting you and everything, dude. Those were good times.
Lifelong friends.
Without a doubt, dude. It was crazy. But, you make the best of what you got. Plus, to top it off, in my case, I wasn't exactly, I wasn't a wrestler. I was more of a wrestling manager. So when it came down to it, they weren't hiring managers. So they wanted hot divas.
Yeah.
So even if Garrett got in, I most likely wasn't.
Well, I was actually just thinking about our time and how an absolutely drop dead gorgeous woman made me turn heel for a match. I don't know if you remember this. He had a very Greek name, Demetrius.
Oh, yeah, the dinosaur.
Yeah, he was gigantic.
Yes.
He was huge. And his valet was drop dead gorgeous. And he was part of your faction, the family, which routinely beat me up repeatedly every show. And I was like, I really don't care. I am in my early 20s, and she is, my wife's not listening. I might be talking too loud. She is one of the most beautiful women I've ever laid eyes on. I'm all about Demetrius, Darius. It was something very
yeah. It was something like that. Like he was so muscular he couldn't really wrestle. He was one of those guys, if I remember right.
Yeah, he couldn't really bump, but just came out there. And I mean, when you have a building that small and a ring that small and a crowd, like he's larger than life in that situation.
Yeah. And I just knew Rick had an idea of the Lauren show. I had the idea of the Lauren show. I wanted to do a full like Rowdy Piper's Pit sort of thing. I actually wanted to do like Lauren's Love Den, where I wanted to bring couches and have divas and stuff hang around. And I really wanted a Piper's Pit. I was obsessed with Rowdy Piper.
He's one of the greatest of all time. It's a good person to be obsessed with.
But a lot of the indie people, they had all these crazy ideas like of longevity, and in my head I'm like, none of these ever last like past 10 shows. It's hard. It's hard to stay afloat being an indie person. It just
absolutely.
Is in wrestling.
I think my biggest strength in the professional wrestling business was to know what my limits were. I got to do a lot in Philadelphia. I did some in Delaware, some in Jersey. And when I came back from college, I did all this when I was in college. I was in Connecticut with very few connections and found my way into the indies. And man, I made like a 20+ year career ring announcing, commentating. I've seen some of the best that, came up to WWE, came up to NXT and got to be like, oh, that ref you see in the ring at the Royal Rumble. Yeah, I got to manage him for a show. That's so, awesome. It's connections upon connections, but I knew I wasn't good in the ring. I learned that very quickly, but I could bump and I could sell.
Yeah.
And I can talk, and you can put a mic in front of me and I'll give you, 20, 30 minutes. And talking about the end of ECW, the one good thing was all of a sudden every single indie in the area was rife with ECW talent. So all these people that you really looked up to are suddenly sharing a locker room with you. That was the only cool part of it. Everything else kind of terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy because, like, dude, I was backstage. I was like the fly on the wall and stuff. Like, I got to see so many wild ECW moments. I mean, it was an amazing locker room, but, like, you know, a lot of people didn't realize, like, New Jack's my origin into wrestling. Yes, New Jack, and it was a 51st dates sort of thing. It was that one day that he got me. It was the night before WrestlePalooza when Jerry Lawler was supposed to show up at the ECW arena.
God.
So that was
what a hot time.
Yeah. So it was June 6th. They were in Scranton. June 7th, they're at the ECW arena. So I'm in Scranton. I've never been to Philly, and I just started getting into hardcore, so I started getting more confidence. But when you said Philly, New York, Chicago, all I thought of was Judgment Night. That's all I ever thought of. Like, don't go there. I mean, you don't know where you're going. You're going to end up, So that was just like my main fear. And I kept hearing the boys were going out in Scranton to this club called Tinks. So I went there. I met New Jack. And New Jack had the red sports jacket on, that they had at that time. And he was really, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, to everyone he met, really laid back. And so I'm hanging out with him. So it's like 12 other people, we're just kind of trailing this guy. And he goes, the end of the night, I was like, really nice meeting you. And he's like, well, that's not it, right? I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, you coming to the arena tomorrow? And I'm like, that's a 2-hour drive. It's probably sold out. He's like, you're on the guest list and you're not going.
Wow.
And I said, stupid, like a kid. I'm like,
yeah.
Well, how am I on the guest list? So who put me on the? He's like, do you want to get that into the show?
Yeah.
So New Jack gave me his pager number, which I still have written down.
I still have Mikey Whipwreck's phone number written down somewhere.
And then I gave it to him, and so he gave me his number. I said, thank you. The next day, I page him and say who I am again, and I'm coming down with my one friend, and we got to the arena, and we missed the first match. And I walked in, and it was like a freaking mosh pit of freaking crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And Debbie Beaumont's there, who I didn't know were any of these people at the time. And I was like, we're on New Jack's list, and she's just like I don't think she even – I could have been anybody. She's like, go on in. And I'm like, sit. Where do I sit? She's like, find a spot. I was like, okay. So we ended up in the worst spot in the house, kind of by where they come out. And I waited for the show to end. And he came out. He was signing autographs for kids. Only seemed to be like young kids. And I went up to him and I was like, yo. And he stopped and he stared at me.
Oh, man. Oh, the worst.
And I was like, this is going to be one long ride. One long freaking ride, man. And it was crazy because no conversations with the guy. And oddly enough, Vic Grimes moves into 2 apartments down from me for ECW. So, yeah, that Living Dangerously, when Vic Grimes and New Jack went off
when New Jack tried to murder him, as he's admitted to.
No, not next PW. What set up the first one?
Oh, right.
I drove up with Vic. I was Vic's guest at that event. Yeah, so I kind of got a cool, it was not cool. No, they got hurt, but
no.
Yeah, but like I was there for that, and oddly enough, Vic drove us up. Vic drove us back. Like Vic was completely freaking fine with that. Like just he's Herman Munster. You just can't hurt him. You can drop a piano on his head. Like it was
everybody has a New Jack story. If you're in the business in this area, I found my way to New Jack on a train. I was actually coming down to Philly. I was done working there. I was still working in Connecticut. And I get on the train, and I am the person I was working for was very good friends with Jason Knight. And Jason was part of our company. So I texted Perona. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I just walked by New Jack. And he's like, you have to talk to him. I'm like, the hell I have to talk to New Jack. I'm not talking to that man. He terrifies me. So then Jason gets on the phone, and I was very scared of Jason as well. He's small but very frightening. And Jason's like, you got to talk to Jack. And I'm like, come on. So I go, hey, Mr. New Jack. He's like, hey, what's up? I'm like, well, I'm friends with Jason Knight, and he told me to give you his number. And I'm like, hey, what are you doing in Connecticut? He's like, oh, I'm coming back from Cronus's funeral.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. No, I went and sat as far as humanly possible from him after I exchanged information with Jason Knight. And he was an absolute gentleman and didn't even care that I was bothering him. But it was a scary experience.
Yeah, dude, I totally believe that. So, brother, I have something amazing to show you and this audience.
I don't want to see this.
Everybody get ready for this one.
Cujo is a disgrace.
That's right, Cujo. Cujo is not a disgrace. Cujo is our world champion. Show that man some respect.
He's your world champion. I don't recognize him.
He is the world champion of CWF, and he is probably one of the best workers in this business. What does he want?
And here comes my good buddy Lauren.
Yes, I said something about you, Garrett.
Bye-bye, Hackett. Bye-bye. Hit him again, please. Could you do something with this?
Friend of mine.
Thank you. Lauren, it's nice to see you.
Hello.
No,
all right,
your mom is.
We're going back on here.
We're going back on. Now, what was the cause for that?
What's that one? You've been a part of this before. It's time for a Lauren show.
It's my favorite time of the year.
Yes,
the Lauren show.
Can I turn the damn channel?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I never knew when you were coming. It was just you showed up. I'm like, oh, I guess this is what's happening.
Yep. And you would always take a huge bump into the chairs, and it was always set up that you were going to wrestle me, and it never happened. And I knew it was never going to happen.
I got one match in the area finally. Finally got a match. Shaka, my dude Shaka just got out of jail in New Zealand, thankfully, and is back stateside.
What happened?
Whole ordeal there, but I don't want to.
All right, another time.
He's out, and he brought me and one of the guys I helped break into the business. I think you know him, Winky Lexington. He's been around here, and so we got to tag me and Shaka against him and the former Brickwall Bradley at that point in time, Chris Crude.
Yeah,
and that is my one match, and it is horrendous. Horrendous. One of the worst things.
Gotcha, brother.
Yeah.
Pat, I'm going to get you back on another time, dude. But
all right, absolutely, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, dude. I definitely just want to, catch up. I'm just trying to do a variety show because there's a lot of chapters of my life. So I just wanted to share them with everybody.
Absolutely.
So.
I'm glad to be one of those chapters, man.
All right, brother.
All right. Keep up the good work.
I'll be Thompson from Red Light Films. Welcome to my show.
Yeah, this is awesome, dude. This is the first time I'm catching this, man. This is a pretty sick setup you got going on here. I've been making some of these comments going on here. This is some pretty funny
dude. I change my background all the time and everything. Yeah, I try to have fun with it, man. But when we do the podcast normally, I have a particular guest. We go for a long time, but in this case, just want to do a variety show, a little this and that, and get people on. And you're definitely a guy that you're one of the Philly people that that constantly pumping out films, and you're always good to my event, Freedom Shorts and Liberty Massacre. So I thought you should be on. Is what I thought.
Thanks, man. Like super cool, man. I loved your events, man. Those things were fun. I'm hoping the Trocadero at some point makes a return, but I don't know.
You know what, man? For with everything going on, I just don't know. And to top it all off, like AEG and Live Nation, they've got like 3 different venues each now. Like you kind of don't need that one. It's the oldest that needs to get upgraded. So, I hope because I just love that building. I worked there for like 12, 13 years. So, I mean, it's a big part of my life. I just love music. I didn't work there for money. That's for sure. You know? So
it's an awesome venue. I remember playing in a band years ago, and we actually played there in like 2008. I was like a kid, but it's a pretty cool venue. I love that venue, man.
Yeah.
But We're actually doing a screening at Philomoka.
I know. It's the 17th of March. I marked it down.
Yeah, which is super exciting. I haven't been there since your event, matter of fact.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I got a few events after that, but we'll see.
Nice.
But so, dude, tell my audience about what projects you got going on right now.
Yeah, for sure, man. We which is actually the event at Philomoka. So we have a film coming out called Parrot that drops March 17th. The premieres at Philomoka. So if anyone's watching this and wants to come hang out with a bunch of filmmakers and just a cool after party at the Trestle Inn. But yeah, the film's about it's about a drag queen story hour. If you aren't familiar with those, it's basically a drag queen protects a child during an active shooter threat. So the trailer, parrotmovie.com or redflightpictures.com. I forget where the trailer's at, but if you look that up, you can probably find it somewhere on there. But yeah, it comes out March 17th, Philomoka. It's going to be a cool event, and super excited to hope you come out, man. It'd be great to grab a beer with you.
Hell yeah, dude. So what's it been like as far as like getting distribution and actually getting your money back?
Yeah, it's tricky, man. Like, so I think, right, short films are I think anyone who makes a short film you're not getting your money back. So
no,
be very careful with your spending on that. But
that's more of a passion thing. Like it's a stepping stone. It's a passion thing.
Yeah, I think for sure. I think it also like for us, like our company, we do we're also a big post house. So we do commercials and feature films and editing wise and color grading and correction. Like we have a whole sound studio as well. So a lot of these projects sort of lead to working with other clients, which has been a lot of fun, which also allows us to do these really cool events, like for like Parrot, it's coming out. So like, it allows us to do that passion project and also meet some new people on the way. So for a distribution standpoint of view, it's, short films there's more and more avenues coming out with those. I know HBO is now starting to bring out some from short films on their platform, and you're going to see Netflix starting to do that now. So you're going to start to see more
on HBO Max. They're going to actually start screening short films.
They actually have one on right now. It's actually a film that I met the director out in Fort Myers for the Fort Myers Beach International Film Festival. She has a short film on there right now called At Last, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so I think more distribution short films are going to you'll see more of those platforms coming out, which will be kind of cool.
Wow. So, I mean, is there anybody watching? Where would anyone be able to see your films at the moment? Are you still working on that in process?
I mean, so you can see there's a film called The Boy Hero that's on Prime, and I think it's on Vimeo too. If anyone goes to redflightpictures.com, or I think I tried to put my Instagram handle on here. I don't know if it went away, but at Kyle B. Thompson, I usually throw links up on my Instagram.
Yeah, that's got to go through me, unfortunately. Yeah, yeah.
Fair enough. But yeah, I think redflightpictures.com, you could probably see a whole bunch of films on there. But Parrot, again, you can see it March 17th at the Philomoka premiere, and then it starts to do its festival tour shortly before that. So,
gotcha. Kyle, the most important thing is the audience wants to know is when's Lauren going to be in one of your films?
I know, dude. Listen, the last two ones you don't fit the drag queen.
You sure?
Well, I don't know, maybe. It's actually really funny, man. The posters behind me, I think that's the film you came on audition for with us like 8 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
I think it is. Which it's weird. That also played at Philomoka. Like it came out in 2013. And yeah, I think that's the first time we met you. That or it was the film over here. It's one of these two feature films that we did years ago. That's when I think we first met. But yeah, hopefully, man, once a part comes up, but we'll have to figure that out and get you in one of these films. It's a long time coming for sure.
All right, Kyle. Well, thank you so much for coming on to the show.
Of course, man.
All right, brother. Well, all right, brother. Have a good one.